What's going on? My name is Amy. Welcome to the channel, and in today's video we are going to do a weekly recap of all my trades Monday through Friday this past week. This was the first week as a 6 months trader. I have decided to hone in on using Ross Cameron's strategy for beginners, trading like Ross as best as I can, and I'm gonna just basically go over my screenshots I've taken of my trades and things to improve on, things that went well, that kind of thing. And then also show you guys, I just imported my trades into Trader View. So I'm testing that out, seeing how I like it. It's giving some stats, which is kind of nice just to have that to look at your overall analytics. There is a glitch, unfortunately. I was charged by Charles Schwab for an OTC order, and they charged me a $27 commission fee on the one winning trade I had on Friday. So it looks funny on TraderView, like I was at a loss, and I'm working on getting that resolved. Basically, they rerouted my order to the wrong filling, and it should have gone through the NASDAQ market. It went through OTC. So hoping to get that resolved, which I'm sure we will. So I just wanted to mention that's why my stats aren't completely accurate on TraderView. So let's kind of go into the trades, and then I'll show you the TraderView. So here we have our playbook / trading journal. Monday was the first day of trading like Ross, and I really this trade, really, I shouldn't have even gotten into Pony because it didn't meet the criteria for breaking news. So lesson learned, the first trade was a loss, P&L of 92-cent loss. The screenshots I'm showing you guys, some of them are from Trading View, and some of them will be from Robinhood, depending on the charts I was using that day. Basically, I see, I entered above the 9 EMA. I didn't have the VWAP and other EMAs on the chart to kind of show this, but yeah, clearly I got in at the wrong time at the top here. And from looking at my journal, time of day, this was after, I think this was after the market open. Yeah, it had to have been. I'm trying to see my screen here. 7:05. Yeah, so I'm getting in like 7:05 a.m., which is like 10:05 Eastern. And, I kind of missed this initial move at the open. So really, I was kind of seeing, okay, we're breaking above that first high. But I really should have, first of all, skipped this trade because it wasn't meeting the criteria of breaking news. Secondly, the type of volatility that I really need to be focused on would have happened in pre-market or at the open, as you can see. So yeah, mistakes learned on that. The second time I got in though, so I jumped back in, but I scalped it for 10-cent profit. Okay, so I got an 11.44, 11.46 exit. I caught some little like move right here where it spiked up on the like a little bit of a topping tail. So I literally was just like, I'm going in, we'll see what happens. And I think I sold it in like 2 seconds. Yeah, and then you can see it just continued on its downward trend right after that. I put a note too that the first time I entered, it was the MACD was literally, sorry I didn't put it on this chart, but the MACD was literally, the lines were like crossing right as I was getting in, and I was like, oh crap, So again, lessons learned on that. Got a little bit of our money back here, and then the final trade of the day. This is the trade that messed me up for the entire week. And guys, all it takes is one, because if you go too far past, what you can make back in profit, then this is what happens. So here I am buying a Z car, and if you had been following the channel at all, the previous Friday, I had a weird glitch with the Z car and lost some money on it. And here we are trading it again. Now this one, I think it did meet all the criteria, but when I got in this trade, I think I was like, this is my fault. I was semi-distracted by something, and I think I was talking to Schwab's like chat support about something else. And, I really should have just been dialed in, focused on the trade. Granted, I'm only buying 5 shares here. That's why you see 5X. buying 5 shares a trade, just keeping things small and tight for risk management. But where I feel like I really messed up was look at this entry price, $12.23. I didn't sell this thing until it dropped to $11.58, which is too far of a gap for me to make that up. It puts pressure on you to, get some winning trade where I've got to make back freaking, what am I down? 65 cents almost a share. And with Ross's scalping style, we're looking for 10, 15, maybe 20 cent wins if we can get it per share. And clearly I let this go way too long. I also I should have taken a profit when it hit $12.45. I have been learning from Ross's videos all week on YouTube and realizing that I need to go for these small, quick wins, get in, get green, get out. So where I got in on this green candle, I could have jumped out and gotten a profit. For whatever reason, I'm up 22 cents and I didn't. And this ended up, you could see the spike here, and then it just flushed, right? And it's straight downhill from there, crossed below the 9 EMA. I definitely should have had a better mental stop. This one, I think this was also, it was market hours, but either way, still should have had a better mental stop in order to exit that trade at a low. Like I should have gotten out, right around here, instead of waiting for all these other candles and then finally getting, and these are 1 minute candles. I was in this trade way too long. Took a loss of $3.22. And unfortunately, even though I had 4 green days after this Monday, it wasn't enough to make up for this one freaking loss. So lessons learned: 1, don't get distracted when you're trading. 2, make sure that you have the stop that makes sense for you. Obviously, technical levels, I should have, if I'm getting in, on this green candle, my stop should have been the prior green candle, in which case I should have been exiting as soon as it was down to here again. And clearly I didn't, and I'm waiting till way over here. So yeah, this was my trade of shame for the week. And I have learned to tighten the risk. Okay, so then Tuesday, things got better. And I traded AREB, little tiny scalp, 13 cent gain. I just quickly in and out. And really, I think I was in and out in this same green candle that you see my arrow here. And, I think with this trade, I wanted to just grab the money and run, which has kind of been my strategy. Now, granted, had I thought about Monday's trade and realized how much that would set me back for the week, I probably could have definitely stayed in. You can see where the MACD is wide open, but I still got out. Just seeing I was green, I think was my reasoning there. It didn't take much of a gain there, 3 cent per share. So, it's funny how one mistake trickles into messing up your other trades sometimes. So could have been a bigger gain. Okay, so Wednesday, GPUS, 5 shares again. Went in twice on this one, 2 winners, quick scalps as it was coming up here. And if I look at my notes, let's see, we had, okay, so initially I put in here, auto send did not work with the hotkey. So I actually tried hotkeys on this stock, and it didn't go through. So I could have got a way better entry on this stock initially. And once I kind of figured things out, I was like, oh, okay, noted. Let's see. Oh, sorry, we're on Wednesday. Let me put this on the right day here. My journal is a hot mess sometimes. Okay, that was the previous day. Yeah, so what I ended up doing after my thinking, okay, the hotkey isn't auto sending, I got to go back into Thinkorswim and fix this. For the rest of the week, I just used the buttons on Thinkorswim so that I could just quickly, had the little checkbox auto send. When I hit buy ask or sell bid or whatever, boom, it's just going through right away. So yeah, we got a $1 to take profit on the first entry, and then I get back in real quick, get 18 cents, nothing crazy. And I think I'm getting out, clearly this mismove kept going, but I was like, let me just, I got in, made some money in the first one, got in again, and just trigger happy, it's like, let's just take the money and run. So I ended that day. I think that was the end of that day. Yeah, ended that day in the green with 2 winning trades, and I was just like, you know what, I'm good. Like I traded for 2 straight hours from just before 5 a.m. my time, so like pre-market's almost 7 a.m. Now this one I was entering at the open too. So come in here. This you can see where the chart has changed colors. At the open is when I'm getting in, and I think I was just kind of like, you know how the opens have been lately. You could have nice clean moves in the beginning and then you could just drop. So I just wanted to grab it and run. Then I put some notes in my journal here too that, by the way, if you haven't joined us in my Telegram group, Amy's Trading Tribe, there'll be a link down in this video. It's free to join. And this was the first day that I traded with them in the pre-market and through the open. And I had 2 winning trades. We all were, not all of us, but several of us were jumping in on this particular stock, and boom, 2 green trades locked up, $1.20 for the day. Yeah, on 5 shares, not too shabby. It really should be breaking these down for percentage gains and whatnot, but we'll add that to the playbook journal at some point. And this one, I said I waited for a micro pullback, felt the surge, so I jumped in as soon as the green candle expanded. And I think I meant this one like in here, kind of jumping in. And could have held out, kept ripping. And I thought too, later on, I was like, I'll maybe try to scale out when I start increasing share size. So I'm only buying 5 shares right now. I'd have to like go in there and change my settings to say, okay, next time I sell, just sell 2 or something. I didn't want to make it too complicated, so I'm buying 5 and I'm selling 5, and no scaling out right now. But that's a thought for the future. So here we are for Thursday, another green day. Nothing crazy. Traded ASST twice, and this one, I kind of was watching over here. Entered in pre-market, which I'm glad I did because I got a good entry price. However, I'm not even sure like what happened there and why my take profit was so little. I said I should have sold at 6. Oh, well, that's why. Okay, I should have sold when it hit 6. For whatever reason, I hesitated. I waited. It started coming back down, as you can see, and I trigger happy, panic sell 567 just to lock in something, which is why I only ended up with 30 cents instead of a 40-cent per share gain. This is something I've just been talking about all week, that you got to have real confidence in not only your entry, which I feel like I got a good entry, but also when to exit. And for whatever reason, I held on and it turned against me clearly and kept turning against. We dipped below 20 EMA, 9 EMA, and then it came back later that morning, a few minutes later. But then I go for a second trade. And it freaking gets halted. So what happened here, and I should have been selling at the top over here, like halting here, selling at the top. I think when the trade got unhalted, or when, was unhalted, the stock, that I saw the number 659 and I hit sell. Now, granted, I think I might have been hitting sell on the bid instead of sell on the ask. Although, nope, I put hit sell ask when halted. Glitch, spread, technical error, whatever it was, I only ended up locking down 5 cents because I only gained 1 cent per share the second time on this trade when it got halted. So, it's just all these little tweaks that I can do that can help me get more gains. And, of course, I said that one trade on Monday really set me back. But had I just kind of executed a little bit better on these other trades I was green on, I might have made enough to make back that, profit and then some, maybe. I just kind of felt like, this trade that day, it was like, it's not about patience, it's not about FOMO, it's not about greed, it's about the confidence in what you're doing. And when you know exactly, like, okay, I'm in the trade, but you actually know before you get in the trade what you're looking for as far as entry, okay, check. Then you also have to have confidence of, okay, where am I actually looking to bail and where is my mental stop? And clearly, I don't know if it was just intuition. I knew I was going to flush down to a mental stop, so I jumped out early the first time, and only locking up 7 cents there per share. But yeah, it's like if you have that mental stop, you should abide by it. Granted, I would have probably been negative on that first one, but I just realize how important it is to be confident in your exit. You might not feel like you're this accomplished, great trader yet, but you should have confidence when you are supposed to exit. So that was a lesson learned here. Your strategy, ability to execute, and knowing what type of trader you are. If you're the type of trader that's like, I like quick moves, I like to be in and out, I like to get green, take the money and run, that's kind of where I'm at. And yeah, I should have grabbed it for sure when I hit 6, and I hesitated, and this is what happens. So let's move to Friday. Now, this is the stock that Schwab decided they were going to reroute my order, and instead of taking it through the NASDAQ, because this actually, I believe this stock actually listed on the NASDAQ the same day. So I'm in pre-market trading with the group, and when I look at my statements after the week is done, that's when I noticed this weird $27 fee. And they said, well, it was sent over the counter for your order. And I was like, well, I didn't approve that. I didn't have the option. There was some weird auto thing on. So I believe they'll do the right thing and reimburse me for that. But the first trade I got in, and here, I saw it coming down as I got in. Sorry for this being kind of small. There's a red shooting star on this as it was going up. That's kind of where I was entering this $15.73. And it got all the way down to $15.47. I feel like I should have gave it a little bit more space in terms of that stop. It's challenging as a beginner when you are entering into something that's going into uncharted territory, as in new highs on the stock, and you really, you have this tiny little pullback here, and it's like, okay, in the moment, quick decisions, you didn't know exactly where that pullback was gonna finish pulling back as you're getting in at the proper time. So then knowing where to exit if it's gonna hit your mental stop, that's a little bit of a tricky thing for me. I'm learning. But what I did was immediately, this thing just rips. And all of a sudden, we're up to freaking $2 more per share. I immediately jump back in at $17.50, and I'm riding this up, and I get out at $18.10. And it still had room to go after that. So very impressive move, kind of faded beyond that. And the time of day on this was very early, 4:30 a.m. my time, so 7:30 Eastern, pre-market. And I just put, I didn't give myself enough of a stop. If I had waited for the next couple 10-second candles, it would have been like, Amy, just stay in, right? Too obvious. So the second one, though, I did lock in $3 because I got this 60-cent per share move. So I was really happy and proud of myself for that. And I talked about this on Friday's recap, that this is kind of the point in the day where I should have just been like, hey, I'm up $1.70. That's cool. Ended on a green. We're done. And I overtraded, and I traded 2 more times, and they were both losses. And I'm like, okay, should have learned my lesson. Didn't. Was tired from waking up like freaking 3:45 a.m. these past couple of days, and really should have just recognized that my decision making skills at that point just weren't as good. It's like, Amy, just know where you're at. And so I traded SYTA, and this is also one that I shouldn't have been in. Like I mentioned, the one with no news earlier. This one's under $2, and I'm supposed to stick to $2 to $20, according to Ross's beginner strategies. And I didn't. And I get in, take a small loss of 27 cents. And I talked about this yesterday, that for whatever reason, I sold at just a 5-cent stop. And then, of course, there is a point where it does shoot up to $2. I might have been able to capture, it was over $2, excuse me. Might have been able to capture that had I just held on. And I don't know why I just sold out so quickly, other than I saw it consolidating for a minute, just was like, I gotta get out. So yeah, loss of 27 cents there. I don't know why this is here, that's not correct. Okay, so then final trade of Friday, too much of a loss here, 95 cents. I put all the notes here: FOMO trade, decision fatigue, got in too high, impatient, hesitated to sell at 145, which would have been only a 4-cent gain. And I talked about wanting to go, wait for things, and I was looking for $1.50 and it never came. And so it just, And, this one I was proud, though. I did hold on to my mental stop, which was right at about $1.23, $1.22. That's where it finalized. So crazy enough, Friday ended on the green at 48 cents. But yeah, overall for the week, it just wasn't enough to make up for the Monday trade. And I just didn't get enough profits on the other trades where I was bailing quick and things like that. It did feel good, confidence-wise, to have 4 green days, though, and to feel like I'm making a little bit of progress getting more wins. Obviously, lots of room to improve with the wins. So here we are on Trader View. Now, this is where I say this is inaccurate. I did not lose $34. $27 was, I think it was $27.33 was the fee that I'm trying to get wiped. So it's actually a loss, I think, of $6.90. So yeah, this skews my whole numbers. What's weird is when I first imported my data, it didn't calculate it into my trades. It calculated it as a fee. Then next thing you know, for whatever reason, Trader View updated, and now it's kind of just like messing all this up. So I apologize, guys. I should have had like much cleaner looking results here. Like even the overview. Yeah, it just kind of messed things up. So hopefully next week we will have accuracy on this. Unfortunately, it's just, yeah. If I were to take out Friday, let's just see where we were at. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong. Nope. Starting on Monday. Okay, so this was for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I believe. So you can see green days, 4 green days, woohoo! Yeah, slightly negative P&L because of that Monday trade. And then where are we at here? Let's go into details. Yeah, so again, I'm ixnaying on Friday, even though it was 4 trades and I was still green. So we're just looking at the other days right now to get a more accurate picture. So total gains and losses, if you skipped Friday, actually it's only $2.37. I don't know where the other amount came from. Average daily gain loss. Here is where I messed up with the Monday trade. 59 cents was my average daily gain loss. Going forward, trading stocks that are $2 to $20, there's no reason I should be at that much of a loss per share. Usually, I'm setting it at candle levels, right? But if the candle that I'm looking to set my mental stop at is more than like 25 cents different from where I get in, clearly I shouldn't even be taking that trade. So this is not going to happen next week, okay? No 59 cent per share losses. And then clearly you can see I'm only getting 30 on the gains. So this is why we are overall negative. But and you add, it basically had 12 trades, not 8 for Friday. This was interesting to me because I see it on Ross's as well, that your hold time on winning trades it's going to be shorter than your hold time on losers. Why is that? Because we hold on to the losers hoping that it's going to come around, right? So literally double the time, 2 minutes to 4 minutes difference of holding winning trades versus losing. Clearly, if you are just willing to sever the losers as quick as possible, knowing where your mental stop is, that's it, you're out, right? I think that was one of the reasons that I jumped out of that one trade where I'd only gone down 5 cents, was because I felt like I was in it too long. I was like, okay, things aren't going in my direction yet, and that's why I bailed. Unfortunately, I was incorrect about it taking too long because it literally turned around in my favor right after I got out. So it is what it is. Okay, so average per share, gain and loss, average losing trade, number of losing trades. Okay, so technically losing trades for the week, we had 5, and you had my one extra winner there, we had 7, counting Friday. Performance by day of the week, yeah, Monday was the big losing day. And then I had all green days after that. So lesson was learned in some aspects. This also shows, okay, so Monday was the second highest number of trades at 3. Friday was higher at 4. Thankfully, I still ended up green, However, this says to me, Amy, you shouldn't be taking 3 or 4 trades a day. Like, these were your winning days. 1, 2, 2. Like, this is why I think it's really important to have this kind of statistic stuff in front of you, right? Like, knowing where your strengths are, knowing where your weaknesses are. I know that Ross even says, take the trades when you're new. Take 1 trade a day, which I did in the very beginning for several months. And when I start scaling back, I wanted more practice. I wanted to do more trades just to get more under the belt and just trade really small. And I would take anywhere from, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades a day. But if I look at my statistics as I am now, it clearly shows that I'm doing better if I take 1 or 2 trades a day, max. Like, walk away. You're figuring this out. You don't need to impress anybody by how many trades you can take a day and still end up green. Friday I learned that. Like, yeah, I took more trades. Yeah, I ended up green, but it wasn't green enough to help offset the losing days. So yeah, it wasn't worth it. Okay, trades by hour of day. This puts me at 5 trades at 9 a.m., 3 at 10 a.m. So many of the trades were before the open, and then Friday, all of the trades were before the open. So this is also showing me that pre-market into that first kind of few minutes of the open, my best times. Best winning trades, okay? Best time to go. Losers were after 10, after the open, right? So that says it all right there. Okay, so this is just for the month. Okay, so time of day, intraday. So less than a minute spent in a trade got me the gains. Over somewhere between 2 to 5 minutes was loser, and 5 to 10 minutes was an even bigger loser. So this kind of like data where it's just spelled out right in front of you is so freaking valuable, because when you're doing your trades, and even though I'm documenting stuff and I'm putting like when I get in, when I get out, stuff like that, this is getting the nitty gritty and putting it right in your face, full color, right? So what does that help you with? It helps you see the truth. Like, these are the facts, Amy. Now adjust accordingly, right? So lessons learned. I'm going to actually take notes on this when I find my pen. I'm going to put like, okay, pre-market to the open. This is our limitation hours. Staying in trades for less than a minute seemed to work out a lot better. And even that W buy that's not showing on the chart right now because I took off Friday, the one that was a winner where I got like a $3 gain, that one, yeah, in and out, quick scalp, less than a minute. Definitely less than a minute. All of my trades, less than a minute. This is my strength, okay? Anything over a minute, it's like, okay, you're not winning, like, just get out, right? So clearly I was holding on too long for some of these. And yet, yes, some of them I would have made more profit or would have gotten profit. But overall, my strategy is showing me that I do better very, very quick trades, right? Let's see, hours a day, we looked at that. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you. Hope these video recap things, showing the screen and showing my journal and my screenshots is of some value to somebody if you're new, especially. Believe you me, I know the journey is real. So if you want to come trade with us, we start 7 a.m. pre-market in my trading tribe on Telegram. We're just messaging back and forth. We're not doing any live streaming just yet, but that might be coming down the line at some point. Just not ready for that step just yet. I'm like, let me figure things out here, get better at my trading. And yeah, free to join, guys. Link down in the description, comment section below. My day trading resources, if you haven't grabbed those, feel free to check them out. Basically, everything that's helped me get this far as a 6-month trader. No blown accounts. Get my psychology right, get my money right, trading very small. That idea came from kind of the psychology of Mark Douglas, where he talks about executing 20 trades and looking at things as a series instead of looking at each individual trade and taking the emotions out of it. Like, one of the best things I ever learned from him was that, hey, when you trade, all you should expect from that trade is that something will happen. You shouldn't have expectations of this is a winner or this is a loser. No, statistically, you just don't know. you might have a high probability in your strategy, things like that, but trade by trade, you just don't know what's going to happen. And that really took the stress off my mind, starting these small trading positions, because I was like, well, I'm willing to risk X amount of dollars to do these 20 trades and see what happens. And I've just been recycling this over and over, this idea. And lately, I'm in another 20 trades experiment. This is the Ross Cameron Trade Like Ross 20 trades. And now I've done 12 in total. So 12 trades this week, trading like him. At 4 green days out of 5, I feel pretty good about that. Granted, I know what I need to improve on. I know how to increase the profits over loss, because this week was still in the red, unfortunately. But I know what to correct, and I know what to work on this next week. So come trade with us in the Trading Tribe. Like I said, link down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.